It's been founded in 2011. It's been 15 years plus. And our tagline is helping business stay compliant, profitable, and future ready. So generally, see, if you say CA, the use is compliant, that is compliance, compliance, compliance. We do beyond that. That's what I am trying to tell you. So it's not we are starting with the compliance, but ending with the future ready and the profitable also in the way of making money. So whatever you are having the efficiency, we try to push that, or I can say explore that, or we can say whatever the maximum extent possible, we'll try to use the resources. It may be men, it may be money, it may be resources available, it may be infrastructure. Maximum utilization, we'll try to do that. Generally, what are the problems we face in a business concern? Now, the point of my presentation will be with the link to compliance only. I'm not going beyond that because the time, whatever hour it is, 10 minutes. So I just wanted to cover the compliance part. What are the frequency of tax notices you get? And the GST compliance errors, poor accounting systems, and lack of tax planning. These are all the general, whether irrespective of smaller business, small or big businesses, everyone faces that shit. The core issue is where the gap of information flowing from one person to another person. It may be from accountant to the owner, or owner to the consultant, consultant to the department. There's so many communication gaps in there. Because of that only, these problems will pop. It may be in the taxation, it may be in your profitability, it may be. So we need to attend first we need to connect the dots. Until unless the flow of information is right, we don't get the proper output and nothing can be done. That's what I'm saying. These are the problems we face. What is the approach we follow? First is correct structuring of transactions. See, when client comes to us, they come after completing the transaction. Generally, we observe. So, property I sold, now what to do? They don't come before that. Or they would have entered with some commercial agreement. After that, they come for us. What to do? So always the approach should be first discuss with the, I am not saying with me, even a consultant or a financial advisor, anyone, whatever the professional way it is going to help us, first you approach them, you have a clarity on the transaction, then you take a decision. You don't take the decision and come back to the consultant or a professional. So always a good habit is first to discuss, then you conclude the transaction. If it's in reverse, always we cannot do anything. It's only a patch up we can do. But it cannot do the 100%. Preventive tax advisory. Again, whenever the tax advisory we are going to give, it's in a pre-transaction stage, we can give better solutions to mitigate the risk. Any business will have the risk factor. I don't say without risk, any business is going to run. It's an inherent thing as a business person, risk needs to face, but it cannot be like an unplanned risk. We should know what is the risk we are taking, whether the risk is compatible or acceptable or bearable. That's going to the matter. Then poor financial documentation. Yes, you have someone has 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs, you have transferred. There won't be any documentation. It might be a gift, it might be a loan, it might be an advance towards some supplies, anything. Without documentation, any transaction cannot be substantiated. Then strategic tax planning. Tax planning is always prior to implementation of something. If say for example, if you got a deal, better deal of 10 crores, you should be happy. But before executing or entering an agreement, you should have what is the cash outflow in by way of taxes? Because substantial amount is involved in tax. It's not a minor. If you say GST it is 18%, if you go for the income tax, it's a maximum of 30 plus surcharge and it may go up to 40-42%. That's not a very small amount. It's a major chunk of money which is going to be involved in that. So better you need to have always prior to the entering any transaction, it should have the clarity in that. What will be the impact? Many people say that, sir, 10 crores, 5% is my margin. I'll earn 50 lakhs. But really, it may not work so. Apparently, it looks like 50 lakhs is a very good amount. But if you calculate all cash flows and whatever the risks involved, that may end up in 10 or 15 crores. For the risk of 10 crores, 10-15 lakhs might not be advisable to the transaction itself. So, that should be the approach. Then, what are the services in taxation we provide? One is the tax planning, return filing, and tax revisions and litigation, and settlement representation. till Supreme Court, we have the people who represent the case. So from AO to Supreme Court, in all levels, we have the people who are supporting all the people. With respect to GST, again, GST registrations we do, GST compliances, GST advisory and department notice cases. Corporate level compliance, company incorporations, field operations, ROC filings and annual compliances. Here we do, I have not included this section because of the different part. Before entering any joint ventures or joint venture development agreements or any business ventures, we structure the transaction in such a way that tax maximization and accountability, and there should not be dilution of powers. That structuring we will advise. When it comes to accounting services, with bookkeeping systems, we don't do the bookkeeping services as such, but we implement the bookkeeping systems. We don't do the basic accounting. And the financial reporting and MIS reports we generate for the decision making purpose. And ideal clients will be traders who does the recent transactions and contractors, real estate businesses, startups and MSCs and any professionals other than chartered accountants, because as chartered accountant they will maintain everything. So I prefer other than chartered accountants. And what are the referrals I am looking from? Business facing tax notices, where something would have happened, there are open issues pending, maybe 5 years, 10 years issues might be that they could have to handle that. And companies needing any compliances, where there's we have the option of April 15th, we are getting amnesty scheme where around 90% of the late fees are waiving. So probably you can refer any backlogs who are having the companies not filing the returns or anything like that. Entrepreneurs starting any companies. There might be an individual partnership firms, they want to migrate into corporate structures or corporate entities, where definitely we can help you in regard to that. Then business with accounting issues. Say for example, there's an accountant, there is a team which handles the financial reporting part, but there's gaps. So we'll try to fix it up with SOPs and implementation of some structures, documentation, reporting mechanisms, where we are going to support them to have the flawless information flow. Typical client situation, received an income, say for example, something you would have received, unattended. They would have received, but the consultant had given his mobile number and everything. They wouldn't have checked that. They wouldn't have known that. There are sometimes which happens to some third party accountant would have given, he would have left. There are so many gaps. So always we check the statute whose contact number or something, whose mail ID is there. That's the first hand information always we get. Then the GST department clarification. It's not about the notices, it's about the clarification. If you are having certain transactions, it's the first time if you are doing. You don't know what is the GST rate, where is the HSM is applicable. We can go and take the advisory from the department. So those kind of things also we can help. Where so itself is not maintained. We'll try to guide them and we'll place the right people in their place, or virtually we'll support how to do the accounting, how to maintain it. If they are not done, then any tax planning is the prior stage where we can have what all the tax plannings we can do. Connect with me. This is my contact number and LinkedIn also I have provided. Thank you.